Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Brad Bond in for Phil Gallagher. Well, many residents have been asking questions since a full watering ban was put into effect last week, and the Department of Public Works has released a statement trying to address at least some of them. As reported on BNews, the full watering ban went into effect on July 6th after additional repair work was found to be required at the Vine Brook treatment plant. During scheduled work, the contractor found additional issues with some hatches and other equipment that needed to be addressed immediately to keep the plant operational in the years ahead. DPW Director John Sanchez said that to do this more extensive work, the output from the treatment plant had to be reduced, which created the need for the watering ban. He also said that the extra work has pushed back a scheduled clean-out of the sanitation tank at the Mill Pond Reservoir plant, which will extend the duration of the ban. So, what does the ban, officially known as the outdoor water restriction, disallow? Well, outdoor watering restrictions consist of irrigation of lawns via sprinklers or automatic irrigation systems, washing of exterior building surfaces, parking lots, driveways, or sidewalks except as necessary to apply surface treatment such as paint, preservatives, stucco, pavement, or cement. The definition left some people wondering about some activities not specifically addressed, and so the DPW put out a list of frequently asked questions on its social media pages. Here are some of the questions and answers they provided. Question: are businesses and commercial users exempt from the full outdoor water ban? Their answer is no. All commercial businesses must abide by the same water restrictions that we have asked of the residents. Can I water my plants, flowers, and garden? Yes, though they'd prefer you fill a watering can and water your plants and gardens this way. You can water your plants, gardens, and flowers with a handheld hose, but no watering of lawns is allowed. And what about wells? Are they exempt during the full outdoor water ban? No, they're not. Wells are also included in this ban and must abide by the same rules during this full outdoor water ban. So why isn't DPW and the town doing something to prevent this from happening in the future? Well, the town is. Town meeting approved to connect to the MWRA for situations that arise like this one. However, the permitting process takes about a year. The town hopes to be connected on a limited capacity by the end of next calendar year. Can I wash my car or power wash my house? No, this is not allowed unless it is the core function of your business. What about topping off a pool? Well, yes, the DPW asks that you contact them at 781-270-1670 the day before you top it off so that they don't flag your address as a violation. And when will the ban be lifted? Well, when the Vine Brook treatment plant is ready to go back online after the filter is repaired, the DPW will reassess where things are in August. Hang in there, everybody's lawn is brown. Well, in other news, an American sports bar, mostly known out west, is looking to fill a vacant property in Burlington. Paperwork has been filed with the Burlington Planning Department on behalf of the restaurant group Darden Restaurants to build a yard house on the site of the former Chili's at 108 Middlesex Turnpike. Chili's closed earlier this year, and since then the building has remained empty. Yard House, founded in 1996, is an American sports bar chain with over 60 locations in the country, the majority of which can be found in the western part of the country. More recently, East Coast locations have been opened, including one in Legacy Place in Dedham. The franchise was purchased by Darden Restaurants in 2012 for $585 million. According to the paperwork filed with the town, the plans for the Burlington location call for demolishing the existing Chili's building and building a new 12,066 square foot full-service restaurant with associated parking and site improvements. During a Board of Selectmen meeting last December, a representative for Darden Restaurants said the project will consist of a state-of-the-art building at a cost of between $8 to $10 million. The new restaurant is proposed to provide seating for 370 patrons. Yard House's menu is a mixture of traditional pub food, including burgers, nachos, and pizzas, with more unique offering like street tacos, shrimp salmon Cobb salads, and Maui pineapple chicken. Yard House boasts that it has the largest selection of draft beer with its more than 100 selections on tap. We wish them luck. Well, and a Burlington restaurant project long in the making seems to have been stalled, a situation that might prompt action from town leaders. The Burlington Beer Works, slated to enter the location at 34 Cambridge Street in the Crossroads Plaza, formerly home to Outback Steakhouse, appears no closer to opening than it did a year ago. The project was first brought to the town in 2015, and after some changes and modifications to the plan, they were issued a building permit in February of this year. Even by the time Sleezar Brothers Brewing Company, the entity that owns the local franchise, completed all the necessary steps to get the building permit, the project had drawn the ire of some Burlington officials. In December of 2017 into January of 2018, the Board of Selectmen held public hearings to consider revoking the liquor license previously granted to the business for what they said was an unnecessary delay. At that time, Selectmen said the project had already been between 2 and 3 years in the making, and that during that time the town was not benefiting from the meal tax an open restaurant would generate. An attorney for the business said that during the hearing, said that unlike many of the restaurant groups that move into Burlington, Sleezar Brewing is a small family-owned operation. He insisted Joseph Sleezar, the owner, was working in good faith to get the project completed as soon as possible. On January 22nd, the board voted to not revoke the liquor license at that time, but members said they would continue to monitor the situation. Though they did not give an exact time frame to see the progress, they made it clear they expected action sooner than later. The attorney told the board at one of the hearings the business was ready to start construction within 2 weeks of receiving the building permit. As of July 11th, the Burlington Building Department said the permit had not been picked up by the business and that no work had been started. Selectman Chairman Chris Hartling told BNEWS that nothing he's seen suggests the business owners are acting with any of the urgency they talked about when they were before the board. And Mr. Hartling added that he thinks a reasonable amount of time has passed and it is time for the board to revisit the issue publicly. And a group of children between ages 8 and 12 were at the Burlington Police and Fire Departments on Wednesday for the Community Day portion of the Middlesex Sheriff's Youth Public Safety Academy. BNews Director Rich Hosford went to check it out and has us report.
Burlington's police and fire departments had some young and enthusiastic visitors this week when cadets from the Middlesex Sheriff's Youth Public Safety Academy, all wearing bright green and orange shirts, stopped by to learn about what the two departments do to help keep people safe. The cadets had a chance to tour the facilities, participate in some educational games, meet with members of the departments, and, perhaps most exciting, check out some of the equipment and vehicles. It was part of the Academy's mission to teach the kids about safety and the men and women who protect the community.
So this is Community Day. So every Wednesday, the kids go out into Community Day. They do tours of the local police and fire stations. In some communities, they go to visit City Hall or Town Hall and talk to the mayor or the town administrator. And again, it gives them a chance to see all the different inner workings of the police department, of the fire department, all the different training that the firemen and policemen have to go through, but also in a fun way participate in some of the same activities that some of these kids may be doing as adults as they move on through college and ultimately onto their careers.
We got 4 activities here at the police station. They take a tour of the station, they get to know the inner workings we have inside. They've got a little crime scene we work out back, which is a scavenger hunt. They learn to work together as a team and see the importance of evidence collection. They also have firearms. That's always their favorite. They like the firearms training. They get to go down there, they see a live demonstration of firearms. And then lastly, we have one of our traffic and safety officers that deals with kids all the time in the back Sally Port showing the cruisers and even our mobile command center. So hopefully they get to see a lot of what goes on.
The week-long academy for children 8 to 12 years of age is in its 19th year. During the week, students participate in a variety of activities that are meant both to teach them about safety and be a fun and enjoyable experience.
We have what we call our STEP class, Student Tools for Emergency Preparedness. We partner with FEMA, and we talk about weather emergencies. Who would have thought in Massachusetts we'd have to talk about tornadoes until a couple of years ago when we saw those tornadoes in the western part of the state. So we talk about that. We also talk about cyber safety and cyber security. And then we have just fun stuff. We have arts and crafts. We have basketball and hockey. And it's meant to be a fun week for the kids.
The biggest lesson of the week, and one of the reasons for the visit to the police and fire departments, is to get the kids familiar with public safety members and to teach them that the men and women of the police and fire departments are there to help them in an emergency.
So the number one lesson is that they can reach out to members of public safety and emergency services, whether it be firemen, policemen, correction officers, who they don't get to see that often because they're behind the walls at the Middlesex Sheriff's Office and all over Department of Corrections across the state. Also, any type of emergency people that may be responding to any event, that they can trust them and follow their lead.
The earlier, the better. It's always shown a younger kid. It's better to get to him quicker as a younger kid, and he's more comfortable the police officer, especially in uniform. And they learn, hey, I know we teach 911 as younger kids, all the way up to good decisions. So I think that if you can get to a younger kid early, I get a good chance to have a base to teach them as they get older.
Finally, interest in the Middlesex Sheriff's Office Youth Public Safety Academy has grown over the years, and parents who want to enroll their children for next summer are advised to plan ahead.
So this event has grown a lot through the years. So it's important to follow at the Middlesex Sheriff's Office. Go right to our website. We start our registration. Our goal is on February school vacation week to have the registration online. But if you follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, or Instagram, we announce ahead of time all of our programs. So if they look online, starting in early February, we'll announce those dates. And we had some communities fill up this year in 45 minutes. So the parents need to just be alert and ready to go when that registration does go live.
At the Burlington Police and Fire Department, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
Wow, thanks, Rich. What a great program. Well, it's a natural reaction to want to help a friend or loved one in need, and while that is a positive human trait, it's also something scammers can try to exploit. The Federal Trade Commission is warning residents of an uptick in fake emergency scams that try to use people's willingness to lend a hand to steal from them. Scammers try to trick you into thinking a loved one is in trouble, the FTC says. They'll send messages like, I lost my wallet and ID, I'm stranded, please wire money, and your grandson is being held in jail, he needs bail money right away. They call, text, email, or send messages on social media about a supposed emergency with a family member or friend. They ask you to send money immediately. To make their story seem real, they may claim to be an authority figure, like a lawyer or police officer. They may have or guess at facts about your loved ones. These imposters may insist that you keep quiet about their demand for money to keep you from checking out their stories and identifying them as imposters. But no matter how real or urgent this seems, it's a scam. If you get a call or message like this, what should you do? Well, the FTC does have some advice. Check it out before you act. Look up that friend or family's phone number yourself. Call them or another family member to see what's happening, even if the person who contacted you told you not to. Don't pay. Don't wire money, send a check, overnight a money order, or pay with a gift card or cash reload card. Anyone who demands payment in these ways is always, always, always a scammer. These payment methods are like giving cash and nearly untraceable unless you act almost immediately. If you sent money to a family emergency scammer, contact the company you used to send the money, either the wire transfer service, bank, gift card company, or cash reload card company, and tell them it was a fraudulent transaction. Ask to have the transaction reversed if possible. Well, the Burlington Conservation Commission is having an ongoing scavenger hunt to give residents a chance to explore the conservation areas in Burlington. BNews reporter Robert Paris went to learn more and has this report.
Looking for an adventure or maybe a fun activity with your family? Throughout the entire summer, the Burlington Conservation Commission will be having an ongoing contest called the Great Outdoor Scavenger Hunt.
So the Scavenger Hunt is a contest that the Conservation Commission is running over the summer, and basically we have two different scavenger hunt lists. One is for younger kids, it's more of an I Spy game that they can play, and the second one is kind of a more intense list, but that's for maybe older elementary kids or even adults if they want to do that. So they can fill out the sheet, bring it down to the Conservation Department, get a small prize, and then they can also put in a raffle to win our grand prize, which is tickets to the Museum of Science for their whole family.
The Conservation Commission is taking this opportunity to get involved with the community.
So there's a couple different purposes for doing this. One is to really engage with the community and kind of show people that there are some beautiful conservation areas, some beautiful parks, areas where people can go hiking, go for nature walks, go biking, outdoors in Burlington. So Burlington's an awesome place to live. There's obviously a lot of great shopping, a lot of great dining things to do, but there's also a lot of great natural places here in town that they can take advantage of. So we want to kind of engage with the community that way.
There will be a wide variety of plants, insects, and small animals you will find on your scavenger hunt.
What can people expect to see while they're venturing out? Obviously there's lots of trees, lots of wildlife. It depends on what time of day you go out. In the early morning, you may have the chance to see more animals. In the evenings, you could see some beautiful sunsets, things like that. Down at Vine Brook, if you go out in the early morning, you can see all the little baby herons waiting for their parents to bring back some little fish for them. So there's some really cool stuff to see out there, but we really want people to just enjoy the whole experience with all their senses.
Finally, Take a look around your backyard. You never know what you might find.
The first thing we want to do is kind of, again, engage with the community, maybe form some new connections. A lot of the other commissioners have been in town for a long time and they've made some great connections, and we just want to make more of those so that we can have more opportunities to be more engaged with the community and get people excited, make them aware of all the great resources out here, and then also kind of help people to anticipate our next big event, which we won't reveal today, but it'll be another contest probably in the fall. And again, we just want people to be able to appreciate the natural beauty that's in Burlington.
From the Pine Glen Conservation Area, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly. Let's go hunting. Some pine cones, leaves, big humongous rocks. Have I seen an animal over there? Nope. More trees. Oh, it's going to be a long trail.
Thank you very much, Robert. State Representative Ken Gordon, whose district includes Burlington, put out a release outlining a couple of recent votes he's taken. Gordon joined his colleagues in the House to pass legislation creating a streamlined automatic voter registration system while also protecting the privacy of individuals. This legislation directs the Secretary of State to work with the Registry of Motor Vehicles and Mass Health to automatically enroll eligible individuals to the Commonwealth's voter rolls. The Secretary of State will adopt regulations governing the system, including provisions requiring electronic transmission, data security protocols, and integration with online portals. Under this legislation, registration agencies will transmit electronic records of the legal name, age, residence, citizenship information, and electronic signature of each qualified person to the Board of Registrars of the municipality where the person lives. The Board of Registrars will then send a notice to the individual informing them that they have been registered to vote and offer the opportunity to choose a party affiliation or decline to be registered. If the individual does not decline within 21 days, their name will automatically be added to the voter lists. The name and address of program participants will remain confidential, and the Secretary of State will establish security measures to protect voter information. The bill also requires Massachusetts to join the Electronic Registration Information Center, a nonprofit that assists member states with improving voter roll accuracy and increasing access to voter registration. Under this legislation, automatic voter registration would begin on January 1st of 2020. The bill now moves to the Senate for its consideration. According to the release, Representative Gordon also joined the House to pass legislation that will prevent healthcare professionals from engaging in conversion therapy, including practices that attempt to change an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity. According to the American Psychological Association, conversion therapy may pose serious risk of harm, such as confusion, depression, guilt, helplessness, hopelessness, shame, social withdrawal, and suicidality, the release states. Violation of this law would result in a healthcare provider being subject to discipline from their appropriate licensing board, including suspension or revocation of their license. This bill will also go before the Senate for consideration. Well, recent visitors to the Burlington Public Library may have noticed brightly colored decorations adorning the walls, shelves, signs, and even some of the trees on the property. These creations, known as yarn bombs, are the work of a group of volunteers trying to make the library an even more attractive place to visit. BNews reporters Tad Stefanak and Robert Paris went to check it out, and they have this report.
If you've been to the Burlington Public Library lately, you may have noticed interesting pieces of objects made completely out of yarn. This week I went down to the Burlington Public Library to learn more about these colorful creations.
We have a group that meets at the library weekly. It's called the Good Yarn Knitting and Crochet Group. And I would say probably in December, Elaine and Nancy, two of the members, came into my office and they said that they would like to yarn bomb the library. And I was familiar with the yarn bombing. I've known what it is. I've never had it in a library that I've worked. And so I thought it was an intriguing idea. And so they asked if we could consider the idea. And so after talking with them a couple of times, I thought I took a leap of faith and thought it sounded like a great idea.
These masterpieces can be found throughout the entire library.
Just when you start entering the library, there's great yarn bombings right out front. You may not have noticed the bike rack for many years. It's been out at the corner of Sears Street, but now you're certain to not be able to miss it because there is an extremely colorful child's bike that is set up there. as well as some of the posts that we have, signposts outside of the library, trees. They've yarn bombed multiple trees in the area. And so then once you come into the library, you start noticing things at the circulation desk, in the children's room, hanging over hallway entrances. We have a large Mondrian style yarn bombing that's in the picture window just by the reference desk. But there's really no space where they haven't yarn bombed. So yeah, it's great.
Yarn bombing projects have been happening for almost 2 decades.
Yarn bombing began about 20 years ago with one woman who simply wanted to brighten up the space where she was working and started with yarn, covering a handle with yarn, knitting it. And since then it's grown worldwide. I think every continent now has a yarn bombing somewhere.
These projects are not as easy as you think, ranging from 30 minutes to 100 hours.
We began last October, some of us, and work is continuing even now. So projects have taken anywhere from a half hour to over 100 hours.
Finally, if you have a chance to stop by the library, you may want to check out the amazing work of yarn bombing.
The intention is to bring people into the library, and Elaine said that repeatedly, that she thinks that the library is a wonderful resource for the town, and it's a resource that she's used as well as her family has used for many years. And she wanted to see more people enjoying the library as much as she had.
For 2 reasons. The first was to beautify the space, and second was to bring people in to see that we have a lovely library here in town. I hope they see it as a fun thing that we did, and it beautified with a little bit of humor the library, and that people come and see it.
From the Burlington Public Library, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Thank you, Robert. Well, going outside during the warm weather is great, but there's some things to keep in mind. Recently we had a piece on the dangers of heat exhaustion and heat stroke, and now we're taking a look at tick bites and Lyme disease to help ensure everyone has a fun and safe summer. The Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, has some tips to avoid ticks and signs to look out for after a tick bite that might indicate the presence of Lyme disease. Before you go outdoors, know where to expect ticks. Ticks live in grassy, brushy, or wooded areas, or even on animals. Spending time outside walking your dog, camping, gardening, or hunting could bring you in close contact with ticks. Many people get ticks in their own yard or neighborhood. Be sure to treat clothing and gear with products containing 0.5% permethrin. Permethrin can be used to treat boots, clothing, and camping gear and remain protective through several washings. Use Environmental Protection Agency registered insect repellents. Make sure to check the instructions and warnings to ensure you are using the repellent correctly. Also note some repellents are not safe for children under 3 years old. Avoid contact with ticks. Avoid wooded and brushy areas with high grass and leaf litter. Walk in the center of trails. And when you come back indoors, check your clothing for ticks. Ticks may be carried into the house on clothing, and any ticks that are found should be removed. Tumble dry clothes in a dryer on high heat for 10 minutes to kill ticks on dry clothing after you come indoors. If the clothes are damp, additional time may be needed. If the clothes require washing first, hot water is recommended. Cold and medium temperature water will not kill ticks. Shower soon after being outdoors. Showering within 2 hours of coming indoors has been shown to reduce your risk of getting Lyme disease and may be effective in reducing the risk of other tick-borne diseases. Showering may help wash off unattached ticks, and it's a good opportunity to do a tick check. Check your body for ticks after being outdoors. Conduct a full body check upon return from potentially tick-infested areas, including your own backyard. Use a handheld or full-length mirror to view all parts of your body. Check these parts of your body and your child's body for ticks: scalp, in and behind the ears, behind the neck, underarms, belly button, waist and back, between fingers and toes, between the legs, behind the knees. While a normal tick bite can be an irritant, some can also carry Lyme disease, which can cause dangerous long-term conditions. It's good to know some of the signs and symptoms of Lyme disease. Early signs, normally seen within 3 to 30 days, include fever, chills, headache, fatigue, muscle and joint aches, and swollen lymph nodes. A tick bite carrying Lyme disease also often has a distinctive bullseye appearance that grows larger over time, called an erythema migrans rash. If you believe you have been bitten by a tick carrying Lyme disease, seek immediate medical attention. And the last few weeks, it's either been hot or very hot. To see what's in store for the week ahead, we go now to BNEWS weatherman Peter Brown in our Weather Center for this week's forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Maddie Shipka to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at the weather for the next 7 days, and I hope you've been out there and really enjoying these beautiful summer-like temperatures that we've been having. We certainly deserve it after the spring we had. In fact, we got very close to a lot of record highs over the past week. Now, starting out our next period on Thursday, we're going to actually see temperatures actually a little bit maybe below average. That's something we haven't seen too much of since really the beginning of June, but starting out on Thursday, if you're out and about in the Burlington area, we're looking at temperatures in the lower 80s, so it's going to be absolutely beautiful if you have to be outdoors. Get out there, do anything you can outside. Just get out of that house, that's for sure. We're going to have absolutely beautiful weather coming up. And of course, as we look ahead towards the end of the period, I know it's hard to believe that we're heading into the middle and the third week of July already. And temperatures around this time of the year are going to be about average, maybe a little bit warmer than that when we head in towards the end of the 7-day. Temperatures should be in the mid-80s, and this is about as warm as it gets at this time of the year for our average highs. So again, we're really at the peak now of our high temperatures for the year, and of course, as we know, after that the temperatures start to slowly go down, but we won't talk about that at least for a few more months to come up. And of course, if you notice, our daylight is actually getting a little bit shorter now. We have a little bit fewer minutes of sunshine than we had back at the beginning of June, so the days are slowly getting shorter, but we still have plenty of time to have great long days out there. Now, as we go ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the next 7 days. And looking at this map, again, looks like a very typical map like we've seen the past 2 to 3 weeks here in the Burlington area. Real mid-summertime pattern, like it should be in July. We are going to see, coming in onto the Thursday and Friday time frame, we're going to see a warm front approaching our area from the south and west. And this is going to bring in some actually hot and humid weather again to the Burlington area and the rest of southern New England as we head in towards the latter half of the weekend coming up into the start of next week. We're going to see again this big strong Bermuda high off of the coast, keeping those really warm humid temperatures in here. This is also keeping Hurricane Chris far away from us, so you know we've been seeing stories about that the past few days out in the Atlantic, and that's going to pass well to our south and east. Now, as soon as this low moves by us towards our north and west this weekend, we are going to see a cold front approaching our areas. We get towards the middle to the end of next week, and that's going to usher in some more, again, fair skies, so still warm weather, but drier conditions as we head towards the end of the 7-day, and another big high-pressure center coming down from central Canada to keep our weather beautiful around here. Now, as we go ahead, let me show you a little bit about those temperatures and the weather coming up again for the next 7 days, starting out again Thursday and Friday. Absolutely beautiful conditions, really a 10 out of 10 in terms of days for July. Temperatures in the low and mid 80s, dry conditions out there. If you have to be out at night, it's going to be very comfortable. Maybe you need a little bit jacket if you're going to be out there later at night because temperatures are going to be getting down to the mid and upper 50s, but as we get into the Saturday and Sunday time frame, again, we're going to see that warm and humid air making its way back up into the Burlington area. In fact, by Sunday, we're looking at temperatures that might be in the mid to upper 80s and a bit more of a humid feel to the air out there. And then again, look at this as we get into Monday and Tuesday, as you're heading back to work again. Temperatures are going to be up into the lower 90s again, something that we have seen quite a bit of so far this month in July. As we get towards the Tuesday and Wednesday time frame, again, we're going to see that cold front starting to approach us pretty slowly from the north and west. So we may have some off and on again showers and thunderstorms, especially as we get into the Wednesday time frame. But look at that. If you have vacation coming up the next 7 days, you have really, really beautiful weather. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
I'm Maddie Shipka, and this is your Community Calendar. Remember, safety first! On Tuesday, July 17th, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., The Burlington Mall will be having a summer safety day. The day will be consisting of meeting public safety officials, exploring emergency vehicles, and much more. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. For more information, visit www.simon.com/mall/Burlington Mall or call 781-272-8668. There's a band, puppet masters, and songwriters. On Thursday, July 19th at 1 p.m., the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department will be having the Toe Jam Band come perform at Simons Park. The Toe Jam Band is a very active band that kids and parents can sing and dance along to. Toe Jam entertains children and their families with a unique combination of original songs, shadow puppetry, and storytelling. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. For more information, visit burlingtonrecreation.org or call 781-270-1695. Come and enjoy a wide variety of games. On Thursday, July 19th at 7 p.m., the Barnes & Noble in Burlington will be having their first annual Summer Game Night series. Come and enjoy some tabletop games with your friends and family. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. For more information, visit barnesandnoble.com or call 781-273-3871. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your Community Calendar.
Well, another week, another photo to highlight. This week we have a lively gathering of people celebrating our country's Independence Day. It was sent in by Neil Pandit of Neil Pandit Photography and shows a group of patriotic revelers preparing for Burlington's 4th of July parade. Thanks for the photo, Neil. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside, your own door, or even photos of your family members and pets. Email those photos to BCAT at bcattv.org with the subject line, Photo of the Week. Well, with that's the end of our broadcast for today. A few thank yous to the crack team putting all this together. Rich Hosford, reporters Robert Paris and Ted Staffanek. Sorry, Tad. Maddie Shipka and Peter Brown. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week with BNEWS Weekly. Enjoy that weather out there.